Okay, so I'm Melissa Burton. I'm the founder, director of Goody Good Stuff Sweets. There's some on the chairs, so please feel free to grab some and try. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey in creating the Goody Good Stuff brand and bringing it to market and growing it into one of the fastest growing consumer brands in the market today. So why did I want to make vegetarian gummy candy? I was a vegetarian for 12 years. When I sold my first company, I had a little bit of money that I'd made, and I sat down and thought, what do I really miss in the world? What do I really want that I can't find? And I thought, vegetarian gummy sweets and vegetarian bacon. Well, we haven't figured out the bacon thing yet, but I'm very happy to say that Goody Good Stuff is 100% a solution for my problem with the vegetarian gummies. After I thought about my requirements, I learned a lot about the fact that not just vegetarians won't eat gelatin, the halal consumer, the kosher consumer also want to avoid that type of an ingredient. And then I spoke to my mom, who was a teacher in New York State for 40 years, and she told me stories of having this chalkboard in the classroom, all the different children's names, and then little tick chart of which children could have which things. So Tommy's allergic to nuts, Susie is Jewish, so-and-so's allergic to gluten. And she said how it was an absolute impossibility to find a single product that she could give out to her entire class. So that became my mission, to create products that were great tasting, harm-free, made with natural ingredients that were safe for everyone. We have a Kobe koala bear is on our mascot, and a lot of people ask me, is this Australian? And I say no. But we chose Kobe because he's a vegetarian bear. There's only two vegetarian bears, the panda and the koala. And I am aware that the koala is a marsupial, but people perceive it as a bear, so that is all that matters. And obviously the licorice people have the panda. And actually, when we were developing the products, there was the horrible forest fires in Australia. So we saw that iconic picture, and I fell in love with the koala. And from day one, even prior to being profitable, we have donated a portion of our proceeds to sanctuaries in Australia, which look after koala bears which have been displaced. So, as I've probably intimated already, what is Goody Good Stuff? It's gummy candy made with a gel that's based on a lily pad. It's a plant-based hydrocolloid in scientific terms, and it comes from the bottom of the membrane of a lily pad. And that allows us to make a bouncy gummy without any animal product whatsoever, the same viscosity, that same texture that you're looking for from the traditional item. Then we use fruit juice, plant extracts, herbs, and the majority of the sweetness comes from glucose from vegetables, meaning that the products are safe for everyone to eat. We have 21 different certifications in our factory, making us the most allergen-free candy in the world and the only confectionery item to ever receive a Fine Gold 1 certification, which is for children who are prescribed a doctor diet, which is in relation to ADHD and autism, which encourages the elimination of artificial and processed ingredients. A little history about the brand. So I launched Goody Good Stuff on September 27th in 2010. It's now one of the fastest growing consumer brands in the world. Last year we sold over 1 million units in 1 month. This slide is a little outdated. We now sell close to 1 million every month. This December we're targeting to do over 2 million units in 1 month. We sell the products in 3 of the 5 major supermarkets in the UK. You can get them at Tesco, Asda, Waitrose, Virgin Train, Spar Shop, Superdrug, all over. But even more so, and a much higher contribution to our P&L, is all of our export business. 70% of Goody Good Stuff's turnover comes from export markets. We sell in 15,000 stores in America, some of the biggest chains like 7-Eleven, CVS, Walgreens, Target Corporation. And then we also export to 32 other markets. The products are halal, so they do extremely well in the UAE, Saudi Arabia, India, and then also we have a very big developing market in China. I just got back from China like 30 hours ago. We have a very, very powerful social media marketing campaigns. That's really the only marketing that we do, and I'll talk a bit more about that. We were recommended by Oprah Winfrey, which was one of the turning points for the brand on television. She said we were the best tasting candy that she'd ever had. So here's a little bit of a tick chart so you can very quickly use as a reference of why Goody Good Stuff brings something unique to the market. One of the things, I do a lot of entrepreneurial mentorship, and a lot of people say, how do you know what to bring to the market? And I think this is the single biggest thing. If you're not bringing something unique to the market, then you're going to struggle to compete against people who are much bigger than you, who are doing higher volume than you. And also, what's the point in bringing something to the market that's already there? An entrepreneur should be disagreeable and should not settle for what is available is all that is available. And creating new solutions, like Goody Good Stuff, green checked report card, looking excellent. And then we have Panda, not too bad, not too bad. Then Haribo Star Mix, which a lot of people find interesting, is better than Natural Confectionery Company. And then Percy Pigs, worth $30 million a year in one retailer in the UK. Absolutely outstanding product, but made with bits of real pigs, unfortunately, so not suitable for vegetarians. And then Maynard's Wine Gums, which is literally the foundation brand of wine gum in the UK. As you can see, nobody is doing what we're doing, meaning that we are bringing something extremely unique to the market. Market trends are also helpful. If you have a product that is on trend and is leading the way in trend, then this can be extremely helpful for getting your foot in the door, especially in heritage type businesses like food and drink, where the brands and the conglomerate companies that operate in this space have very, very strong relationships with the retailer, and it can be very difficult to get in. Healthy snacking is growing massively. Deloitte said it grew by 44% from 11 to 13. Conscious consumerism. This is a really cool new trend, that consumers are being mindful about spending their money with brands and companies that they believe embody the same ethical ideals as they do as individuals. Innocent Smoothies is an excellent example of this. Innocent Smoothies is just a smoothie, which is in a beautiful bottle with a gorgeous marketing message that gives a lot of money to charity and has a really great way of communicating with the consumer. The conscious consumer would rather buy that smoothie than a smoothie that's in another label for that reason. 1/3 of Americans eat vegetarian food, and actually their numbers for the UK just came out. 12 million people in the UK are eating on a vegetarian diet in a significant amount of time. That is huge. That's gone up so massively since they did the last survey in 2009, and it represents a shifting dynamic in the way people think about their food choices. People associate vegetarian with healthy, with clean living, with greens, with vegetables. The halal market is 1.6 billion consumers worldwide. It represents the single biggest consumer group in the world. It's extremely important and very big in the UK. So we obviously create products that are safe for them. And 25 million people in the UK suffer from a food allergy, or think that they do. And I'm not sure whether that's actually true. I think that number is very high, but what does it matter? 25 million people in the UK think they have a food allergy. They're going to the free from aisle. They're looking for foods that are free from products that can possibly be contaminant or create an intolerance or allergic reaction. And this is why free from food sales are growing in double digits when the rest of the food market is stagnant with inflation. So when I started, we made 8 different products, which actually I didn't know at the time, but that's quite an aggressive amount of products to launch with. We now make over 50 different things, and we sell these in different formats with different ingredients. We print 30 different languages on our packaging, and we are able to offer products with 24-month shelf life that have a melting point of 325 degrees Celsius, which is very unique. Regular gelatin is a melting point of 70 degrees. And we sell them in all these different pack formats based on consumer feedback. So how is Goody Good Stuff as a challenger brand different, and how do we make an impact without 50 million pounds, which is what our competitor has, in order to educate consumers about our products? Because we have a message which is heartfelt and honest, because the communication that comes out of my social media, in every piece of literature that we provide, in every press release, it comes straight from my mouth and my team. It's honest, and the DNA of the brand remains continuous and true through everything that we do. We use innovative marketing to drive awareness and demand without huge price tags. And we have true points of difference, which means, especially in the food market, this is very hard to find, we're not cannibalizing other products in our set. So what that means is, when someone goes into the supermarket to buy Goody Good Stuff, they are not buying it instead of something else they were already buying. They're buying it in addition to what they were already buying, or they're adding something to their basket from a category that they never shopped in before. We just did third-party data on this with Mintel and IRI, and they found that 49% of the people that are buying Goody Good Stuff are new shoppers to the category. And to a buyer, that is very different. That's the creme de la creme. And then this is our 3 pillars. We respect our customer, they're intelligent and they deserve the best. We respect our community. We give 10% of our top line to local community charities in our local area, never national. And for our environment, the Goody Good Stuff facility runs on wind power, solar energy, and recycled rainwater. Everything that we make is made in Europe with fair trade ingredients, fair trade employment policies. We do not use special economic zones, and we do not in any way disrespect any one of these 3 things in order to increase profits. And that takes a little longer to make profits, but they're sustainable. This is our current customers, and it's a very busy slide, and I make no apologies. And actually, I could put more on there, but the point is, in less than 3 years, a brand that started from nothing is now trading in some of the biggest blue chip conglomerates in the world for those reasons that I just mentioned. We're bringing something unique, we're being honest, and we're living by our words and our promises, and we're continuing to deliver solutions and innovations that solve consumers' demands and problems. Effective and cheap. It's too good to be true. No, it's real. It's real. Win-win marketing. We are very, very lucky to live in a time where we can utilize things like social media. I mean, we're all very much aware of it. Obviously, we're at this show. But I think that it's incredibly interesting, not just for the fact of the reach that you can get, but also for the cost of that reach. So we use 5 major techniques. 1, in-store activities. If you have a product that tastes good, you should sample it. If your product doesn't taste very good, then don't sample it. Just hope your packaging is really, really good. But if your product tastes good, which a lot of people think Goody Good Stuff's better for you, it's made with cleaner ingredients, it's missing all these other things, it can't possibly taste good. Sampling is a massively important part of what we do, and we do it with our own team. We send out people into stores. I go out on the weekends and stand in the city center of Manchester and hand out candy, and that's one of the best ways to spread the word. Second, PR. We have never traditionally used print advertising or television advertising to spread the word about our products for 2 reasons. Netflix, and because it's incredibly expensive and you can't target it properly. What we choose to do is we choose to interact with key influencers, editors, and people who are writing editorial content either for on television or in print. We send them samples, we send them factual information. I spend around 30 minutes a day doing this using ResponSource, which is actually an exhibitor that's here who sends you leads of different people in the media that are looking for information on different topics. And we get featured in at least 2 publications a week by doing this. And this takes me 2.5 hours a week, and the cost of postage stamps for samples. And it's incredibly beneficial. Oprah Winfrey, all I did was send her samples, and that's resulted in one of the biggest pieces of press that we've ever got. I've been on Fox News, CNBC, BBC, all talking about nutrition, entrepreneurship, the products, and all that took was sending out some information to the people at the station. Awards and accolades. We've been very lucky to win quite a few awards. We most recently, we won the Nectar Business of the Year Award, and I won Barclays Businesswoman of the Year Award. And these awards are fantastic for adding credibility to your story, especially when we're brand new, we're coming into a buyer's office, we're saying, hi, I don't have any marketing money, and you've never heard of me, but it's really, really good, you should take my meeting. These kinds of things really help us add credibility. We use them on the signatures on our emails, and they're just that nice little thing to add a bit more clout to our story. Celebrities. Whether we like it or not, there is a very large section of the population which is driven by celebrity behavior, even more so in England than in America. And by utilizing things like Twitter, we're able to get the message about our product out, again, with the cost of a postage stamp and a couple of bags of sweets. So One Direction tweeted us. Okay, the cumulative following of One Direction is in the tens of millions. That's incredible. You would not be able to do that with a campaign for less than, maybe £50,000, and it cost me less than £5. Just 2 nights ago, Lucy Watson from Made in Chelsea tweeted, "These are the best candies I've ever had." 800,000 people in London and the surrounding boroughs in England saw about our product. That is amazing. And very low cost, very high level of return on investment. Athletes. We have over 25 different athletes that have had a medal winning in the Olympics. Plus, we work with lots of different professional sports teams, including Manchester United, Cardiff Blues, all of the different athletics team, Team GB Athletics. And these guys, they use the products for glucose replenishment for training. They tweet about us, and everybody has this fantastic association with goody good stuff and sports and being active and being healthy and eating things that are better for you. And that's something that not a lot of candies can do, so we like that very much. And then social. This slide is a week old, and it's already out of date. It's now 90,000 on Facebook. Our Facebook is growing extremely aggressively, and this is based on organic campaigns that we initiate through listening to our consumer and judging previous activity. We have in-house content development. I do all of the strategy myself, and we have a team of 2 people who implement it. And through these campaigns, we currently reach over 3 million people a quarter. And these people are not just any people. These are our target market. So targeted, so much that, for example, in a recent campaign we did with Tesco, only people who lived within 10 miles of a Tesco that was selling our product saw our advert. Incredibly beneficial. You're not wasting any time, money. You have no frustrated consumers saying, I can't find it. Well, we try not to target them. We do campaigns now with our retailers directly. So we did a shelfie selfie campaign with Waitrose, where people went into Waitrose and took a picture of themselves near the new listing on the shelf. They did my merchandising for me, and then also they won Kobe Koala Bears, and Waitrose was super happy because people were tagging them into all the pictures, and it was incredibly beneficial. We use something called DSI measurement in my business. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with this. It's run by a company called Oxheim, and it measures all of the talk about you all over the entire internet. Every review, every mention on social media platforms, every time you've been put on the Daily Mail online, all of it. And then a human being goes through that and registers whether the sentiment in the comment is positive or negative. Goody Good Stuff's DSI is 53. Haribo's is 19.9, and Mowum's is 20.6. We register this on a quarterly basis. And this is incredibly reassuring to us that what we're doing online, what we're doing in our business is being liked by people, and that they're talking about us in a positive way, broadcasting our message on our behalf as our fans. And that's more valuable than any piece of advertising in the world. These are some of the pictures that we do. And literally, we just design these on Adobe, and we just have it in the office, and we do this on a daily basis. You could go on forever about different ways of doing campaigns, and every business is unique, but by far and away, this is the single biggest game changer for us. And then exporting. Like I said before, we export 70% of our turnover to export markets, and I think that it's an incredible thing to me as an American living in the UK for 10 years that there are some businesses in the UK that don't export even to Europe. Because exporting to Europe isn't really even like exporting. There's no borders to pass, there's no trade regulations. It's actually cheaper for me to send a pallet of gummies from my warehouse in Nuneaton to Amsterdam than it is for me to send them to London. And I think that trading with the rest of the world is not only an incredible privilege and opportunity, but as British businesses, taking on board the heritage that British brands and products and services have around the world as being class and quality, it's our responsibility to go out and continue to perpetuate that by bringing great British products and services all over the world. And that's why I was just with UKTI in China, and it's amazing how hungry they are for British products. And I think it's a massive opportunity a lot of SMEs don't recognize. And this is our Goody Good Stuff World Reach. We're currently in all of these markets, and I have my team meeting with my team, and I say, look at all that white space. We need to sort that out. What are we doing about this white space? Obviously, there's not populations in some of the white space. But I think that this just shows where we are right now, but we are so ambitious to continue to grow even more. And in closing, these are the lessons that I've learned from starting as a one-man band with no experience in creating products whatsoever, to now running teams of, well, in all of the markets, we have over 200 people working on the brand. We own our own factory now. And this is what I've learned. Letting go of the fear of failure is the single biggest problem. When I was younger, I was very afraid to fail because I'd been successful when I was young and I didn't want that streak to end, and it prohibited me from doing things. And those are some of the only regrets that I have in my life. Finding something that you're passionate about is extremely important, and trusting your instincts. Being an entrepreneur is extremely lonely. It's very difficult. I've been on the edge of a nervous breakdown on and off for 2.5 years. And if you're not passionate and you don't love what you do, you will not stay the course, and you'll waste your own time and the time of others around you. Don't give experts too much credit. If you have a feeling in your heart and your intuition tells you that what you're doing is right, and everyone says that's not the way that it's done, don't listen to them. A lot of people tout themselves as experts and try and sell you their services. I can make your brand amazing. I can make you the next big thing. Well, if you're so good at it, why aren't you doing it for yourself? That's what I always like to ask. Remember that we have a sign in my office, and it's the easy way and the right way are never the same way. And whenever you're confronted with a difficult situation, usually fear is creeping in, you're uncomfortable about going a certain direction, asking yourself that question, which feels like it's the easy way, that's probably not the right way. Don't be afraid of the recession. Touch wood. Is there any wood? There's not really any wood. Hopefully it's almost over. But even if it isn't, people will always be willing to pay for quality and value and things that they see added value in. And when I started Goody Good Stuff, it's more expensive than Haribo. We started it in the middle of the recession. Everyone said that will never work. Are you crazy? Well, it does work because people are willing to pay more for things that they believe have higher quality or are better for themselves and their family. Love your customer like your family. I've met a lot of entrepreneurs that actually can sit and complain for hours about the fact that the customer is wrong, and no, you do not exist without your customer. And you need to love your customer and make things for your customer that you would be proud to serve to your family and that you feel are really helping solve their problems, because that's how you create a sustainable, growing fan base and a business that goes on for years and years. And square peg, round hole. When I started Goody Good Stuff, I pitched it to every major multiple in the UK and no one would meet with me. If I would have taken that as, guess what, the market doesn't want it, and just shut it down, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have gone on the most amazing journey. I wouldn't be incredibly proud of what I've done. Instead, I thought, well, maybe the UK isn't ready, but America is, so we're going to America. And the first ever order that I had was from a company in the US for 800 stores, and that PO was what I needed to show to my bank to turn the lines on my business. And 6 months later, Asda came back, and then Waitrose, and then Tesco. And they came on board eventually. But don't think that just because the first market you go to says no means that your idea isn't right. That's not correct. And practice the mirror philosophy. We trade in 33 countries, and there are so many different cultural customs, different ways of doing business, different ways of being polite, different ways of being extremely rude. But I always say to myself and my team, if you practice this philosophy, which is reflect out to the world that which you would like to see reflected back at you. And if you do that, no matter what country you're in, no matter what strange customs, no matter what business negotiations or delegations you're in, you will never go too far. That's it. Do we have time for questions? Okay. Yes. Don't worry. I'm going to hear you. Yeah. Okay, so she's just asked me how did I fund it in the beginning. So what I did was I had another company, which was a financial business. I sold my stake and my client book in that business. to raise a little capital, but it was nowhere near enough. And then I actually went to friends and family who joined in, became shareholders in the startup, and we created a startup capital fund of £180,000. We ran out of money before we got to market because R&D and design and all of the printing of like the bags, the plastic bags themselves to make a cylinder is like £20,000. So I didn't know about that when I started. But basically we got to market, we were ready, we had mock-ups and we had product, we had all of the ingredients, we had trademarks and patents and all that, but we didn't have product ready to go. And because we were a brand new business, the manufacturing partner that we had wouldn't make product for me unless I paid for it up front. That's a huge barrier. So going out to that seller in America and getting that PO from a blue chip allowed me to show that to my bank, and then they gave us the capital to turn the line on. And then after 3 or 4 orders like that, we had profit that was then plowing back into the business to cash flow it. Yeah. But yeah, there's so many new ways though. I mean, when I started, there was no SEIS or EIS, and there was crowdfunding was really, really new, and it was not a big deal, and it certainly wasn't something I felt was available to me. There's so many ways now, and I think crowdfunding is so cool because not only do you get money to start your business, but you also get like a couple thousand people who are interested in it immediately, that will talk about it at every dinner party, that will tell their friends. I think it's a really, really interesting platform. Yeah. Yes, hello. Hi. Thank you. Thank you. So he just asked, how do you tread on the line between healthy and candy? And you're absolutely right. We basically never say that our candies are healthy. What we say is that Goody Good Stuff is candy made without nasties. So we have no E-numbers, we have no allergens, we don't use gelatin. And if you're going to enjoy candy, which candy is a rite of passage, which children should and adults will enjoy, you should eat candy that's made with natural ingredients. Same idea behind, if you're going to have cake, you should eat your mom's homemade cake, not cake that's in plastic that has a 2-year shelf life. And I think also we are actually developing a stevia-based gummy, which will be out in the middle of next year, which will be 70% reduced calories, 100% safe for diabetics. So we are constantly trying to innovate to create more solutions because being healthy is definitely a trend that's not going away. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right, if you guys think of any more questions, please just tweet them to us. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the event.